Have you ever stopped to think that what's on your plate could be secretly fighting with the medicine you're taking? It sounds pretty dramatic, I know, but it's a very real and often totally overlooked risk. So let's dive into this surprising world of food and drug interactions. I mean, look at this question. It's a little jarring, right? You think you're doing everything you're supposed to. You're eating well, you're taking your medication as prescribed. But what if that combination is actually working against you? We're going to break down exactly how that can happen. Okay, so let's get right into it. We're going to walk through 6 very common and potentially dangerous combinations of foods you probably eat all the time and medications you really need to be aware of. All right, first up, the classic healthy choice. We're talking about a big salad packed with leafy greens like spinach or kale. Looks harmless, right? Well, if you're on a blood thinner, this picture-perfect meal could actually be a pretty big problem. So what's going on here? Well, it's basically a tug of war inside your body. Leafy greens are loaded with vitamin K, which your body naturally uses to help your blood clot. But blood thinners, their entire job is to stop your blood from clotting. So when you suddenly eat a ton of salad, that flood of vitamin K can literally cancel out what your medicine is trying to do, putting you right back at risk. The key here, by the way, is consistency. Don't go from 0 salads to a kale-only diet without talking to your doctor first. Now, if leafy greens can make a medicine less effective, our next combo can make things dangerously more intense. We're talking about delicious things like aged Parmesan or blue cheese. But when you pair them with a specific kind of antidepressant called an MAO inhibitor, that's where things get tricky. The problem here boils down to a chemical called tyramine. You find it in aged and fermented foods, so not just cheese, but also some soy products and even red wine. Now, normally, your body gets rid of it, no problem, but MAOI medications block that process, so the tyramine builds up and up and up and can trigger a really dangerous spike in your blood pressure. It's a very specific interaction, but it's a super serious one. Okay, number 3. This is one of the most common ones out there and one we still tend to ignore. Alcohol. The thing about alcohol is, it doesn't just mess with 1 or 2 drugs. Nope. It can interfere with a huge range of common medications. The big takeaway here is that alcohol can take the normal side effects of a drug and crank them up to 11. That mild drowsiness, suddenly it's a serious impairment. And for someone with diabetes, a drink can cause a dangerous plunge in blood sugar. Seriously, when that little warning label says, "Do not consume alcohol," they mean it. Not even 1 sip. Let's move on to the morning ritual for, well, millions of us. Coffee. That jolt of caffeine we love so much can actually be a real problem if you're taking certain medications, like for asthma, or even a simple decongestant you'd grab for a cold. The logic here is pretty simple, really. You're stacking stimulants on top of stimulants. The caffeine is revving you up, and the medicine is also a stimulant. When you put them together, your system can go into overdrive. It can leave you feeling super jittery, tense, and with your heart just racing. It's not just uncomfortable, it can be risky. Now for an interaction that's a bit different. It doesn't cause some dramatic side effect, it just makes your medicine not work. I'm talking about having dairy products. Think milk, yogurt, cheese, when you're on certain kinds of antibiotics. This one's actually fascinating. The stuff in dairy can literally grab onto the antibiotic molecules in your stomach and just not let go. This means your body can't absorb the full dose of the medicine. So the danger isn't an overdose, it's an underdose. The antibiotic becomes way less effective, which could mean your infection just doesn't get treated properly. And finally, we get to what might be the most famous or maybe infamous food-drug interaction of them all, grapefruit juice. This totally harmless-looking breakfast drink can have a powerful, powerful effect on a whole bunch of medications for things like high cholesterol and blood pressure. The way grapefruit works is totally unique. It's not adding something that conflicts with the drug. Instead, it's disabling part of your body's own defense system. The juice basically shuts down these key enzymes in your gut, and these enzymes are like a built-in safety check that breaks down a portion of the medicine you take. With that safety check offline, your body can absorb a dangerously high amount of the drug. And that's the absolute key here. It's like turning your regular prescribed dose into a massive overdose, all from a simple glass of juice. This effect is so strong and so well known that it's one of the most studied interactions in all of medicine. And believe me, the consequences are no joke. The effects of this overabsorption can be anything from unpleasant things like stomach pain, all the way up to, in the most severe cases, critical problems like kidney failure. So, after hearing all of that, What's the big lesson? What's the core principle we need to understand? And maybe more importantly, how do you actually keep yourself safe from these hidden dangers? Look, if you remember only one thing today, let it be this. Food is not just fuel. It's a bundle of active chemical compounds, and those compounds can block your meds, they can boost them to dangerous levels, or they can just plain interfere with how your body is supposed to process them. The good news is, protecting yourself is actually pretty straightforward. It's a simple 3-step check. First, just read that little paper leaflet that comes with your prescription. It'll list the major no-goes. Second, your pharmacist is an amazing, super accessible resource. Ask them. And third, always keep your doctor in the loop about your diet and any concerns you might have. You know, what we've talked about today really just scratches the surface of how all this stuff intersects. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? As you look at the food in your own pantry and your fridge, you might start asking yourself, what other secrets are hiding in my kitchen?